of our viewers hop on and join us. They're probably all out enjoying the beautiful weather today, so give them a minute to. There's one.
If you hop on, say hi, let us know where you're watching from. Hi, Lee.
Mihaela.
Hi, Ashley. We've got Kansas and Wyoming.
Julie and Paige and Penny and
Pennsylvania.
Neil.
Oh my goodness. I bet they wish they were in Texas where it's warm.
Where it's warm. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started here, guys. Thank you all for joining us. We have a special guest with us. Kathy with PEMF Complete is with us, and Dr. Hardlin, and they're going, Dr. Handlin, excuse me, and they're going to talk about the PEMF system and how it can help your animals.
Be sure to put any questions that you might have in those comments, or just say hello, let us know where you're watching from. At the end of the segment, we have a pretty unique giveaway. One lucky viewer is going to have the opportunity for a free 1-month trial of the system. And then at the end of that 1-month trial, if you wish to purchase the system, you're going to get an additional $250 off of the system, plus free shipping. So that's a savings of over $500 if you choose to buy the system after the 1-month trial. So with that, Kathy and Dr. Handlin, we're going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you guys so much for hopping on here and being interested in PEMF. PEMF is a new and innovative way to go about helping a lot of situations. The particular machine that we're going to talk about today is called a Mini 5. Okay, it's a digital machine. It comes with an 18-inch loop, and then it comes with an 11-inch butterfly. So every machine that's sold comes standard with those two attachments. This machine is 2 machines in 1 box. So it has the high power PEMF. It puts out around 2,500 Gauss. It has 5 different intensity settings, and it has 2 different timers, a 5-minute and a 10-minute timer. But also with the digital machine, we have a second low power frequency happening at the same time, and it's going to be the same as the Schumann resonance. So it resonates with the vibration of the earth, so the magnetic pull of the earth. The PEMF has lots of benefits to all mammals, honestly. I mean, we sell it for people, horses, dogs, goats, cats, sheep. Even have some people with pet emus that are using it, ducks. You can use it on just about any animal. We specifically say mammals, but you can use it on about everyone. I've never used it on a plant. It will help with respiratory issues. So in East Texas, it's very humid, and we have a lot of breathing problems around here. And PEMF will improve the oxygen in the blood, or increase the oxygen concentration in the blood up to 500%. So like twice as much. It will dilate the bronchial tubes, so you get more oxygen in and more carbon dioxide out. It will help move any inflammation or phlegm, mucus in the lungs and the chest area. So it is very good to help with any respiratory problems. The first thing people want to ask me about is bleeders in horses, and that's a whole nother situation, but it's a possibility that you probably would want to involve your veterinarian in on that. And then it will make everything more bioavailable. So all these supplements that you're spending hundreds of dollars a month on, PEMF changes the bioavailability of that, and you get way more bang for your buck out of your supplements when you're using PEMF. Let's see. Oh, PEMF increases circulation without increasing heart rate or blood pressure. So that's really a cool thing. It increases the circulation of the blood. It increases the air in and out. It can improve the motility of the food through the gut. So just about anything that's in a tube, the tube gets bigger around when you're using PEMF. We can also use PEMF for something called brainwave entrainment. So that ticking noise that the machine makes is much like chickens pecking the dirt, and so it's very relaxing. So we can use that noise to just chill out and help with any stress levels. He's chill out and listen. PEMF mobilizes fascia. So because it's a magnet and the magnet goes in this loop, as you change the position of the loop on the animal, it stretches fascia in different directions. And fascia is connects the nose hair to the tail hair. So that's a huge benefit in these animals. I always say it is the new frontier in body work, but PEMF helps to mobilize fascia as far as the collagen, the fibrogen, and the ground substance. Okay. PEMF also helps to regulate the circadian rhythm. So a lot of times we get our sleep and our eating and our eliminating, all of those things get messed up because we move ourselves, like jet lag, okay, is a circadian rhythm that's not working properly. And PEMF will help your body to adjust to that. So I know that your mind starts racing, or mine does, about all of the things that can go wrong when your circadian rhythm is out of rhythm. So PEMF can help with that. PEMF can also help to detox. We often talk about detox in the liver. We talk about detox in the kidneys. We talk about detox in the colon, the fascia. Whenever you hear somebody say that they have fibromyalgia, in my brain, it just turns into a fascia that's toxic. Okay, so those are a lot of the ways that you can just use PEMF. Oh, and I forgot the first one. It helps to reduce the amount of time required for recovery. And when I say that, people often think that I'm just talking about from injury or illness, but it also helps reduce the amount of time required for recovery from normal daily exercise. So if you're working your horses, trying to get them ready for competition, a lot of times they'll just be body sore because they're working so hard, just like you would be if you were in the gym trying to get into shape for a lifting competition or something like that. And PEMF will help with that as well. Then I invited Dr. Hanlon because I'm not a veterinarian, and I really like for him to be here. If you have any questions about pathological or really broken things, especially on horses, but any animals, PEMF is going to help anything that he's doing to work better. So if he has, say, an infection that he can't get rid of, PEMF will help the antibiotics to work better. If we've got, say, a cellulitis, which is an infection too, but like inflammation in the leg, and we even talked about hepatitis. Hepatitis, I did not realize that hepatitis is an inflammation of the liver. And so we're actually working with a lady right now who has a diagnosis of a horse with hepatitis. And we're quite interested in how that's going to work out. If you have, say, a torn tendon, the PEMF is going to help that knit back together. But in these situations where there is what I call pathology, when there's really something wrong or really something sick, we really need to include the veterinarian in those situations, because we don't want to start causing more problems, like healing something too fast and creating scar tissue, or mobilizing an infection, or, I didn't even know what hepatitis was until I called and asked him about it. So any of the things that, I've got my list here so I don't forget anything. Breeding. So whenever you have a breeding program, PEMF can definitely help that situation to be more successful. It will help the mare to be cycle better. It will also help her if you're doing live cover. Now, you're not supposed to use it on them after they have been bred, because it could cause a pulse in the uterus and possibly a premature delivery. But it also will help the studs to produce more virulent, that's a hard word for me to say, sperm. And it also will help them with the act of breeding as well. So PEMF is very good in your breeding programs as well. Your show projects, so your beef cattle, your goats, your sheep, pigs, it helps those animals. Now, in those situations, you really need to check with your associations and see what's allowed and what is not allowed. They kind of frown on us walking up to the ag show and popping PEMF on a pig right before he goes into the show ring. That's that's not exactly the perfect thing to do there. Let's see, I think, and then you guys have already talked to them about the giveaway that we have. That's pretty exciting. We do a lease program, and so we decided to give you guys a try with this machine, somebody, a lucky person, because you really won't understand how much it helps and what it does until you actually have it in your hand. So anyway, that's a very, very brief overview of PEMF and what it does. I could spend hours talking about it, but anyway, if you have any questions, we'd be happy to talk with you about that.
We do have a few questions for you that are coming in. If you buy a system, how do you get trained on how to use it properly?
Oh, I didn't have my glasses on, so I didn't read all of them.
Oh, you can't see them.
If you purchase a machine, the training comes in that purchase price. And so we have an online program it's called the Teachable platform. So you go on there and you watch me talk for hours, and then you take some little tests, and just to be sure that you got something out of that program, and then you get a certificate of completion. Now, you should understand that there is no accreditation for a certificate for PEMF. There's no government entity or no actual schooling that you are accredited to do PEMF. But when you go through my class, you get a certificate of completion. And that means that you spent those hours listening to me talk, and you remembered enough of it that I think you can go out there and work on animals without causing a problem, or people. And then we offer an in-person, because I have tried, and my niece Rosie has helped me as well. And there just is no way to put this loop on this horse and make you understand what needs to be. So if you are so inclined, also included in the purchase price is an in-person course, and you come and spend 8 hours with us, and we talk about some anatomy and some physiology, and the way that things are connected, and when you put that machine on an animal and you see that jumping, what that means. Okay. So that's the education that comes with the purchase of a machine.
Do you have any tips on how to get the horse used to the tubing or the loops?
Yes, I really do. In my mind, when this thing starts to work, it sounds much like an electric fence. And this horse, you saw him move away from it. He's quite familiar with PEMF. Okay, so oftentimes they're very afraid of the loop. And so I just think of it as a white snake. And if I was going to go at a horse I don't come at them like this. A lot of times I will put myself between the loop and the horse, and they can feel that coming through because this is a magnet, all right? So it passes right through me, and he can feel it coming out the other side. So when it's like I turn my back to him, and then I put it on the front of me. And then when I want to, let's see, move him forward just a here. Come here, sexy. Oh, that's over. Come on. So I would put it like this, and then whenever I want to touch him with it, I hide his eye from it, and then I turn this way, and now then I can touch him with it like that. And usually that will work, rather than just coming at him like this. They don't appreciate that. So that's my best tip on how to get them used to the machine.
And you have the machine going at the time you do that, right? With the clicking noise?
Yes, I do. Sometimes, if they're really afraid of it, I will do it before I turn it on.
Okay.
But if they're not too bad, then that'll usually get them over it.
Okay. This question is from Sue. She is asking, will it help a horse that has chronic loose stools?
That would be a question that I would ask Dr. Hanlon about. Actually, we're working on a horse right now with a chronic loose stool. She's 24 years old, and it's really going to depend on what's causing that. Okay, if they have,
I mean, I would think that it would benefit at a certain point, but if you have to eliminate sand, parasites. You have to, I would think you'd need to do other diagnostics before you just try to, that's probably why PEMF, some people may say it doesn't work, is because you have to eliminate a lot of other things that are underlying problems before you just use that. And
because as it pulses, it creates, or it will mimic the peristaltic contractions of the gut, and so it will actually move the feces through the gut faster. We don't treat as lay people, but I have seen PEMF used to address constipation in people. So it does have the ability to move the stool through faster. If it was going to help with a loose stool, then it would probably be best used in the lumbar spine because something has the innervation to the gut in trouble. But I would really recommend some other diagnosis.
Do you start at a lower time and work up to a higher time as far as how long you leave it on, or is?
Yes. And the reason that we do that is because there will be a period of time where the animal or person goes through a detox. And unless they've gone through like chemotherapy or a whole bunch of medicine or something like that, usually that's just a 1 or 2 times and you get detoxed, and then you can start to work on a regular basis. But yes, we do not recommend to do a full body on a horse or a person, then ask them to perform, because there can be a detox situation. So we usually start off on a lower intensity, and depending on the problem, it could be a shorter period of time. Excuse me. And then gradually go up. Now there are situations like we were talking about the horse that has the hepatitis. We just need to get the inflammation out of that liver as quickly as possible. So we just take it and put it on the liver and work on the liver and then see what happens.
Okay. Ashley was wondering, does this help horses with arthritis?
Yes. Yes, it does. That is one of the primary things of PEMF. When it first started out to treat things like arthritis, reepithelialization, so covering the wound, the skin over the wound are two of the really big things it does. It also helps with non-union fractures. So when you have a break that won't grow back, PEMF will help that to go ahead and happen. But yes, it does help with arthritis. Now you have different situations that you need to think about, and as far as arthritis goes, so like ring bone or bone spurs, things like that, we kind of have to weigh the good and the bad, because you also remember PEMF helps everything you're doing to do better. And so when the body is creating arthritis, that means that there's something not right there, and it's trying to immobilize that or remodel that bone, and it's going to help it to do that faster. So you really need to discuss that with, say, your doctor or your vet or your naturopath or whatever, and take into consideration what you're trying to correct. But it's very good. My husband has arthritis in his lumbar spine, and I think he'd probably trade me for this machine.
I know you went over this once, but can you touch on it again just in case people hopped on here a little later? Paige asked what type of training are available for horse owners interested in buying their own unit?
Yes, we have the online, the teachable program, and it's a certificate of completion, because there is no such thing as an accredited PEMF course at this time. So you can do the online course, and then in the event you want to come and get more, we do an in-person class once a month. It's an 8-hour class, and that comes with the purchase of the machine. If you buy a new machine, now if it's a used machine, there is a charge for the class.
Okay, we have quite a few people asking if they bought a used machine, what kind of training they can get as well.
If we try, with PEMF Complete and the Teachable, they can still go online and take the Teachable course. Just search PEMF Complete on the Teachable platform.
Okay. How old do you have to be to get the certification? Is there an age? No.
We had our youngest one last Saturday. She was 12.
Wow.
As long as you can read.
Yeah, Rosie says as long as you can read.
Have you seen any results in a horse suffering from anhidrosis? I probably butchered that.
Anhidrosis?
Anhidrosis?
Anhidrosis. I have this.
There we go.
There we got it.
All right there. He's a 17-hand Tennessee walker that suffers with anhidrosis, and PEMF definitely helps him. Now, what I'll say up front is there is not one thing that cures that. So there's a lot of different things that cause anhidrosis, but PEMF and some other, I'm more into the alternative methods, but everything together, and I couldn't quite make it all work. And you add PEMF to the CBD, to the steroids, to the feed change, all of that. And then the PEMF just brings that all together and helps it to work. And then it also moves the mucus out of the lung, and it increases the oxygen concentration in the blood up to from 200 to 500%, so 2 to 5 times. So yes, absolutely. It also helps in that situation to work on the pole. So any time that the pole is in trouble, nothing behind that works properly, so we can remove inflammation out of the pole. And this particular horse had a broken neck at C5 and C6, and so it takes the inflammation out of there, which is innervation to the diaphragm. I just go on and on and on about that, but yes, it will help with anhidrosis, but don't hear me say you're going to cure it. Okay, that's what I want to be sure.
Cindy was asking, how does this work on a horse with EPM?
Well, we do not use PEMF on a horse that is actively being treated for EPM. We also, if we know that there is a huge parasite infestation, we don't want to use the PEMF on that either, because not only will it help the horse, but it also helps the parasites to reproduce. Okay, so if you know that there's a large parasite infestation, you need to take care of that before you start with the PEMF. And if they are currently being treated for EPM, so EPM, equine protozoan myosis, okay, I get that word all mixed up, but it's happening right here, okay, right there in that hole, and this machine causes a pulse, right? And so if you're killing those bugs and then you're causing a pulse, there is a possibility, it's not a probability, but it is possible that you could squeeze some of those in that cerebral spinal fluid into the brain. And so we just recommend that you do not use PEMF on a horse that is currently being treated for EPM. I'm trying to say that quick. Okay, so it's my tongue all tied up. But as far as helping them to keep from getting it, it is a tool, okay? I'll tell you myself, Dr. Hanlon has one of my mules on EPM medicine now because I can't keep him from getting it. So it's not necessarily a cure, but yes, it can help everything else you're doing to work better.
And I would say that after the treatment, it would be a benefit because you're rehabbing
Oh, yes, yes.
from the EPM. So after the treatment is done, then it's going to benefit.
It does. That's exactly right. I'm glad you brought that up. We take the largest attachment that we have, and so we also have Equine Wings available, and that's two 24-inch loops, and we lay those down the spine. So we try to get close to the pole all the way to the tail and help to reconnect the nerves that have been injured. And PEMF will help the nerves to regenerate. So I mean, it depends on how far it went, to how bad it was, to how good it is going to get. But yes, it absolutely does help with that.
Paige had a question. She said, I see many of these units advertised as having different strengths. Can you describe where your machine falls in the strength scale? And is it suitable for humans, pets, and horses?
Yes, it is suitable for humans, pets, horses. This particular machine is a high power PEMF. We call it high power, low frequency. So the low frequency is the key to it and what makes it not dangerous. So when you talk about transcranial magnetic stimulation and these things that require a doctor to administer, I mean, still, if we're diagnosing or prescribing, our machines require a doctor. But for the management of wellness, these machines are pretty safe. They have FDA approvals and they have all the safety regulation testing. This is the top of the food chain. I mean, it's a good machine. So there was another part of that question. Where is it? Okay, so PEMF Systems makes several different machines. And this is probably the lowest intensity machine that they make that goes over all of the animals. I mean, they make one that's less intensity, but it's just for people and it's designed to be used daily. But you will never turn this machine on high on this animal unless you're working on his feet. Okay, this machine is more than adequate. It goes 12 inches, so I can work on one side and get almost all the way to the spine. I work on the other side and get almost all the way to the spine. So a machine that goes 12 inches, and it doesn't just go 12 inches. It goes 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches, 12 inches. So from here, it moves from 12 inches. And if you were able to see the field around it, it's in a circle, say. So a circumference of 12 inches around this loop. So this machine is considered a high power machine, as are all PEMF Systems machines. This one we distribute that under the name of PEMF Complete. And it's perfectly adequate, especially if you can use it on a regular basis. And this is the one that has the two it's like two machines in one. So you have the one that you can hear the clicking and you can adjust that. And then you have the other one that you don't really hear because it's a low power, but it's the Schumann resonance. So the same as the vibration of the earth. And a lot of people are of the opinion that is the best way to introduce frequency to the body, okay? But when you get to the higher power machines, it's the amount of Gauss that you're putting in there. So it's a little bit of a charge in the form of an ion that you're putting in the cell that changes the ion potential. So this is a very, very capable machine. Now, as you go up in power in the machines, you get more of an immediate gratification, but sometimes that immediate gratification is not as long-lived as the constant, depending on what you're working on, of course. I hope that answered. If it didn't, ask her to send me an email and I'll go more in depth.
Okay. Cindy asked, how long has PEMF Complete been in business?
Well, we started the PEMF Complete, we rebranded, and in the winter of 19, we were Pulse PEMF Pro before that. So depending on where you start and end, 5 to 6 years.
Is there any kind of a contact list for practitioners?
Yes. For our company, we have a Facebook Live page. We call it Facebook Live Training Page. And then we also have a Facebook networking page so that we kind of bounce things back and forth. We might go to, say, a barrel race and work on a horse, but then that horse goes home to a different state. Then we can always go in there and say, hey, I need a practitioner that has the same thought processes as I do in this other state. So yes, we do. It's not really a list, but it's a network.
Okay. All right. Can you talk about the benefits of using this machine on a horse that's healthy and completely sound and doesn't have any issues or injuries or anything? What are the benefits for using it on a healthy horse just regularly?
Okay, first off is I'm going to ask forgiveness for being a smart aleck, okay? But there are no horses that are ridden that don't have problems. So having said that, using PEMF on a horse that doesn't have any obvious lameness, it's going to help with your recovery from normal exercise. So your horses that are sore from carrying a saddle and sore from working and just body sore, it's going to help them to recover from that faster. So that means that you're going to be able to get them in shape faster. And just a fun fact, horses build muscle and lose muscle twice as fast as humans. I thought that's and then it's going to help you with your joints. So when you get to a 15-year-old horse that's been using PEMF the whole time, their joints, their tendons, ligaments, all those are going to be in better shape than they would have been if you had not used it. Now that's going to be hard for me to prove to you. It's just I know what PEMF does, okay? You're going to wind up with a whole lot less problems in your feet. Your chances of laminitis are going to go down. Your hormone production is going to be better. Your immune system is going to be better. Pardon me. You think of anything else that would help?
I mean, the immune system, blood flow, I mean, yeah, just overall health.
Overall health, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like taking a multivitamin.
All right. Well, that is about the end of the questions here. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Kathy, before we draw a winner for the prize?
Everybody wants me in the company, always wants me to come up with a slogan about PEMF and a quick thing to say about it. And I keep coming back to the fact that PEMF helps everything you're doing do better. Okay, it's not the answer necessarily by itself, but in addition to so many other things. It's what brings us to the top. And the next thing that I foresee is that if you're not using PEMF, you're not going to continue to be competitive at an upper level.
Okay. We had a question come in. Cindy wants, she said, how does this machine compare to a therapy blanket, to the therapy blanket?
Well, it depends on which one you're talking about. And most of the blankets that are on the market now are what are called low power, low frequency. So you're talking about penetration of about 2, generally speaking now, of about 2 inches, where we're talking with these machines at a minimum of 12. Well, depending on which machine. So 12 inches is the potential of this machine. The amount of gauss that you're inducing into the tissue would be, say, approximately 250 as compared to 2,500. That's not to say that the blankets aren't doing good. They are. They are doing good, because every bit of blood that goes past that is still getting PEMF, and it's going to carry more oxygen, going to carry more nutrients, going to make more nitric oxide. You know, it's going to help. Just your immediate results is going to be less, and you're going to have to use it on a more regular basis.
Okay. We had a couple more come in. Elisa wants to know, what is the average treatment length?
That we have 2 different ways that we talk about. We talk about doing a PEMF session in a full body, and then we talk about doing spots. So a spot treatment, and we try to stay away from that word unless we got Doc with us. A spot is really not worth the money and the time you spend and pay if you've not recently done a full body. So when you do a full body session, that's giving this animal what it needs to take care of itself. And then you come back and do your spots just to kind of boost up, say, that hock or that hip or tendon. Oh, how long? I'm sorry. The full body usually lasts 45 minutes to an hour, and a spot usually lasts 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
Deb asked, how about horses with allergies? My horse gets itchy every spring and summer.
Well, that's another one, kind of like anhidrosis, and I think they're very closely related. From my standpoint, allergies are a picture of what is or is not going on in the gut. And so PEMF is going to detox that gut. It's going to move things through that gut. And also, when I see eruptions of the skin, that tells me that the gut is not doing what it's supposed to. So yes, it will help. But there again, it's not the one and only thing that you're going to do. But if you're given shots already and it's not taking care of it, PEMF is going to help that to work better.
Ashley had asked, how often can it be used?
They say that the best way to use PEMF, Michael Davis, the gentleman who has designed these machines as we know them, the best way to use PEMF is 10 minutes twice a day. So 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening. When I had my knee replaced, I used it 3 or 4 times a day. I'd put it on that knee 30 minutes. And I was back to full work in 6 weeks. So it just depends on where you're putting it. Excuse me, I'm talking, I'm getting the dry throat. Anything from the elbows down on the horse, or the shoulders out on the person, and the hip down on the horse or the person or the dog or whatever, you can pretty much do it a lot. I mean, several times a day you could do it. I'm going to have to get some water. And then, but if you're going to do it on the torso of the body, well, then you don't want to do it as often, because that's where your detox is going to come in and not going to feel as good. You could possibly make them have a diarrhea or anything or something like that. So really often on the extremities, and by the way, the head is an extremity. Okay. People that have Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, these sorts of things, they use this machine on their head on a daily basis to increase their cognitive abilities. Oh my goodness, y'all saved the day. So it just depends on where you're working on it and what you're trying to accomplish, but pretty frequently, actually, you can do it pretty frequently.
Cindy asked how many loops can this model use at once?
Only one. This is this particular model only has one attachment, so you can use one at a time on this one.
Okay. All right. If you guys have any more questions, just go ahead and leave them in the comments, and we will get in touch with Kathy and get an answer for you.
All right. We want to thank everybody for joining us today. Lots of great questions. And thank you, Kathy. And thank you, Dr. Hanlon, for joining us. We really appreciate it. We do have a winner this afternoon. And Kathy, can you tell the winner what they will be getting with this prize?
You'll receive this machine for 1 month to try it out, and that's a $250 retail for plus freight, so it's almost $300. And then if you decide you like the machine and you want to buy it, then we'll take another $250 off of the purchase price, and it would be yours. And you'll also get the education and in-person training. Oh, and the attachments. These two attachments are what come with the machine. It's the 18-inch loop and the 11-inch butterfly. That's what comes with it.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right, Melanie.
All right. All right. Today's winner is Paige Bruley. I might have butchered that too, but congratulations. Congratulations.
Awesome.
All right. We have just a couple of other announcements before we let you go today.
Don't forget that our Spraymaster Spectacular giveaway is going on now. It ends June 24th. Don't wait. Get signed up today so you don't forget.
And don't forget to join us next Wednesday. We are going to be live again with Dr. Tony, and we're going to be talking about fly control for horses and cattle. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And thank you. Was it Junior?
Junior.
Yeah.
Yes.
You did a great job as well. We thank you all. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank y'all.
Bye.
Bye.